All right. Hey, how's it going? My name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor, and this is part 4 in our e-commerce full stack website series. So far, we've built out the API using Next.js, we've created the homepage and the initial product page design. Let me give you a look at what we've been working on so far if you're new to this series. So here it is. It's just a little e-commerce website that will allow you to showcase headphones, speakers, earphones, different things like that. And then you can go to each product page, see the product itself, and then go ahead and add it to cart. So a really simple setup that we have going on right now, but we're gonna go ahead and improve upon that today. So next we're going to be adding in persist, because right now when I go ahead and refresh this page, the things that I have in my cart actually won't stay, which is not ideal, especially if you're trying to make sales with more than one item, because if I go to a different page and I go like add a speaker to cart, the headphones say that I've just added to the cart would disappear. So we want to go ahead and add in persisting, so that'll work for us. We're then going to work through some of our existing bugs. We're going to tackle some of the cart count bugs and things like that and see how much we can get through. And we also want to go ahead and build out the UI for these pages, because in our sample site here, which we have a bunch of links in the description below, sort of with the sites and just the different repositories you might need to access. But with this sample site right here, when you go to the links on top that say headphones, speakers, and earphones, it actually brings you to a more cohesive sort of product page that allows you to showcase all of the different products within that category that are available. So we want to incorporate that into our site as well. So that's something that we're going to work on as far as styling goes. So yeah, we're going to jump into that in just a second. If you are enjoying these tutorials, consider giving the video a like or hitting subscribe down below. That way you'll stay up to date whenever I post new videos like this in this series or others going forward. And if you would like how to learn how to become a front-end developer, as I mentioned, I'm a software engineer, but I also was a university professor. I enjoy teaching folks how to learn how to code. You can check out the first link in the description for Davidson Programming Academy. We teach folks how to learn how to code for less than $15 a month. So check that out if you're interested, and you can learn how to code with a mentor starting next year. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the full screen here. Awesome. Perfect. Let me know if you're not able to see or hear, and I will be periodically checking the chat. And say hi. Hi in the chat. Good to see everybody that's here. All right, so first things first, we are going to go ahead and let's pop back into our development site. And let's go ahead, and add in persist, because I think that's going to sort of highlight maybe some of the bugs that we can tackle later, because I'm sure there are a few that we will need to work on, but I think persist will make a few things more clear for us. So let's go ahead and start by tackling persist. All right, so first things first, I had started to look up sort of the documentation on persist last night, and then I actually realized, as I mentioned before in this series, I built this site once before a few years ago. I actually had used persist before, so we can just kind of follow along with the way that I implemented it in the previous app and then use it in this current project. So that'll be really helpful to sort of get us going pretty quickly. All right, so first things first, we do want to install this package called Redux Persist. So let me go ahead and hop over to VS Code and npm install that there. Cool. And we will let that go ahead and install. Awesome, looking good. So when you look up, and we can look up the documentation for Redux Persist as well, just so we're all on the same page. Knowing how to Google is a very important skill as a developer, because you're not going to know every new package that comes out, but it's important to understand and be able to sort of figure out how to use them. So basic usage involves adding persist reducer and persist store to your setup, how many levels of state they want to merge, etc., etc. So this is in our configure store. All right, so we're going to introduce the persist store and the persist reducer into our store, and then we need to add this persist gate here. Okay, cool. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can follow along with how I've done it here and see if that works. And we will sort of come back to the documentation if necessary. So it needed to be into, let's try and just install this piece here. So I'm going to import these two aspects here. So we have persist gate and persist store. And that is going to be, this is in our index.js. So this is probably going to be in our app.tsx. Because we are using both TypeScript and Next.js. So it's a little bit of a different project than last time, but very similar. All right, now that we have that, we're gonna add in the provider here, and we're gonna wrap it around our, oh, we have a provider already, so that's awesome. That was for Redux, sorry, that's not what we need to work on. Oh, we need to let the persister here, that's what we need to do. So this is just initializing a variable using let, and then we are persisting using the store. The store we already provided to this app here because we had provided it for like the Redux the Redux provider itself. Sorry. So then we need to add the persist gate. We'll put it just one level lower of the provider there. We'll drop that in there, and then we will wrap it around the outside of the app and save that. All right, cool. Persister, we have the persister with the store. And then I'm gonna hop over to my index.js here in the store and just see if there was anything I did in here. So it looks like I did import the persist reducer from Redux persist. So let's go back over to our index.js of our store. I actually call it store.ts. But we'll go ahead and import the persist reducer here. And then we will create the persist conflict. Oh, we need also the storage, so import that there. And then we need the, what else do we need? The persist config right there at the bottom there. All right, we'll go ahead and import that create that variable down there. And then, oh, okay, so we're passing, basically what's going on here is that we're taking the reducer and passing both the regular reducer as well as the persisted configuration. So this persisted reducer that we're gonna sort of replace our, or we're gonna pass out as our like default configure store object. So we're gonna sort of have to rework how we're doing this. Basically combines the persisted configuration as well as the reducers that we've already established. We only have one established currently, the cart, but if we do add more reducers, it just combines all of that together into one object that then gets exported as our default store export. So let's go ahead and refigure this for really quickly. So we're gonna say export default const, or actually, let's go ahead and export default, let's say store, configure store. We'll put that there. Oops, remove that, save that. And then for this store, we're just gonna actually import combine reducers from Redux. So I don't think we had that imported already. So this configure store is just gonna be changed to combine reducers. So it's just gonna combine all the reducers there. So it's more of just like a holder than anything else. And then we are going to create this persisted reducer using that and put that down there. We'll save that. And then I need to export this actually as reducers. And we don't actually need to export it anymore. We're just gonna save it as reducers. What else are we gonna do here? And then, oh, it's giving me an error. It's gonna say store, export default store equals, export default const store, export const store equals configure store. I think possibly that's what we wanna do there. And then, oh no, it's gonna give me an error there. All right, let's go back to export default and save that. Export it as configure store. So I'm just getting an error here. Oh, it's giving me, let's put it on the type of maybe reducers. Reducers, and save that. Get state. No, it doesn't work on that. Let's see. Let's see, Redux persist and TypeScript, because I'm sure everybody who does this runs into this hiccup here. So let's see what the default for the root state needs to be. Root state, return type of store, get state, reducer, configure store, persister equals persist store, store. Okay, so this is like a slightly different way to do it. Let's see. All right, we have that, but we want the persister. Let's see if I have TypeScript in here. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we just need to get the state from the, what if we say export store equals configure store, export const store equals configure store, and then we say store for these two. Okay, cool, that works. Awesome. Next thing though, now we're gonna get an error with our cart, like all of our carts and things like that, because it does not exist on that type. All right. State.cart persist partial. That is the issue there. All right, so maybe there's a better way to do this that they've introduced. Let's take a look in here. Persisting, Redux persist. Let's look up TypeScript again and see what answers we come up with. Script example. Oh, you know what? We need to install types as Redux persist. That might help. That's okay. And then let's see. Create store persisted. All right, so let's go back to our store. I wonder. Persist reducer. So what if I say create store instead of configure store? Store. Or maybe it's deprecated persisted reducer. No, I don't think that's the right way to do it. TypeScript. All right, let's try that other solution that came up earlier, because I think that might be the best way of going about it. Let's see, is it this one? I think it was this one here. So yeah. Let's see if it, Redux tools and TypeScript. Oh, this is just a general toolkit in TypeScript. Let's see, persist config, persisted reducer, store, persisted reducer. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's take out all the changes we made in store and close this, don't save. And let's go back and open up store.ts. Let's check that out. All right, so I want to install the persisted, I want to install React persist, but within this file. So let's check out the documentation, see what they're saying. All right, so this is in the configure store. So let me go ahead and import create store from Redux, which is deprecated. Configure store. All right, so that's what we have. We're importing configure store. Then we have imported that. We've imported, do we import storage? Let's import persist store and storage. And we'll drop that in there. Cool. We are then going, we've already imported the reducer, and then we're going to create the persist config. So let's go ahead and create that. And then we're going to create the persisted reducer. And then it's going to be the cart slice, right? And then the export default should look like this. Let store equals create store. It's going to be configure store. Let persisted reducer, assign arrow function to a variable. Export default store equals const store equals, comment that out, export const store persisted reducer. The types don't match. Interesting. All right, so maybe persist is something that we can't use in a TypeScript project. I'm not sure, because the last time I used it was a JavaScript project, so that could be an issue. Let's see. Let's look up Redux persist TypeScript. Persist data in Redux with TypeScript. So we might have to abandon Redux persist and use something else. There's a lot of information on using it in JavaScript, but we want to use it in TypeScript. So Redux persist ES storage. Let's try that. Close this. How to use Redux in your app. Prerequisites, setting up the project. I think we have those installed. Let me check. We might not. Whoops. We have Redux types, Redux persist. This is not using hooks or toolkit. That's the same thing we keep getting to. I feel like there has to be a solution that Redux offers, no? Persist. API state. By delivering rehydrate. This can be used out of the box. Okay, there we go. See? There's an option. All right, let's go ahead and sort this out now. All right, so this is which file? Persistence. Oh, this is using RTK query. This is not necessarily what we want to work with here. All right, so. All right, let's abandon putting in persist for now. We'll come back and look at it later. Let's work on instead fixing up a bug that I noticed earlier. So one of the bugs that I noticed when I was playing around with the site yesterday was that when you, even without the persisting working, every time you go and open the cart, you have one item in the cart already, which is not ideal. We want to have like 0 items in the cart in this like little selector here. So the reason for that is because we actually have this like default sort of piece in the cart here. So what we can do to get rid of that is actually just pass in a better option for our cart state. So for the cart, it should either be of this shape here, an array with some sort of version of these objects. And we can actually even be a little bit more specific. We could say interface cart item and then give it this. Or you know what, let me take this out of the brackets. Yeah, and then we could say it's a cart of cart items, right? So that's the same thing. We haven't changed anything aesthetically there, but what we want to do is say it should be either an array of cart items or it could just be an empty array. And that's the difference that we need to make in terms of the change here so that we don't get that one initial value. So what I'm going to do now is give the initial state of just an empty cart and save that there. And then it's going to give me an error here because the type of any is not assignable to the type of never, but we can work around that. If we, let me see. I think what we need to do is just type this here. If we say this is any, oops, any. So it could be, and again, any is not ideal to be using in TypeScript, but we'll use it for now just to get around our type issues. So that'll get rid of that error. And then we want to get rid of this start new cart because this is actually going to delete the first item of our cart every time it triggers, which is what we don't want that. Like if you want somebody to add something to the cart, every time you add something else to the cart, it's going to erase that thing from the cart. So we want to get rid of that. And then we'll remove this export, but then I think it's going to cause another error because it's definitely being used somewhere. So we'll search for start new cart. So we already have that red error up here. Save that there. Save that there. And then at the bottom down here where it says dispatch start new cart, we'll save that. And then we should be good. Let me check out the cart slice one more time. Clear cart. Oh, so we can actually clear this and just say a clear cart is an empty cart. So refresh. We already are seeing 0 in here, which is pretty good. If we click see product and we go ahead and add to cart, now you'll see that we actually have a 1 up here and we have our headphones in there with the count of 2. So awesome. That's working pretty great. And yeah, that we're going to go ahead and push that change just because it was a quick but important change. So we're going to say fixed cart count bug. And as I mentioned before, all of the changes that I'm making here to this repository is linked in the description below. So if you do want to follow along with the exact changes that I'm making here, you can definitely check that out. I also have the repository for this build here linked below that. This was built like back using Create React App and SCSS and just a whole sort of different, setup. So if you do want to check this out, you definitely can. It's just going to be a little bit different. All right, cool. So that is working. Perfect. Next thing I wanted to do that I mentioned is that I want us to go ahead and create these sort of headphones, speakers, and earphones pages, because right now they just don't exist. So it'd be really great if they did exist so that it's easier to access the different products that are available to us. Now, the really great thing is that we've already created sort of like 90%, or not quite 90, maybe like 70% of this page, because we created the footer yesterday. We created this sort of like about the company section, and we created these cards. So the only thing we need to do is create this like picture text sort of side by side situation here. And really that's going to be pretty straightforward in terms of style. We just need to probably reference our API in order to grab the actual items and their text itself, or just display them sort of statically. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's start by creating this like header up here. And yeah, if you do have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I see everybody saying hello, hello, nice to meet you, nice to see everybody. Thank you for supporting and watching through the videos. I do respond to all the comments that folks leave on the video. So yeah, if you do have any questions either now or if you're watching this later after the recording, please feel free to drop a comment down below. I will respond to you. All right, so let's go ahead and build out the page. So first things first, we want to go to our files and we want to create a new page. So let's create a new file and we're going to call it we're going to call it, headphones. And that's just going to be our first one. So they're all going to be pretty similar in terms of the way that they're set up. But we will use, the way that Next.js works is that it has these pages, or the pages API in Next.js. It has these different pages that basically, as you create a new file, you create a new page. So it's a really quick and easy way to set up the pages that you're working on. So we'll go ahead and create headphones. And then we want to link it in the nav so that when we click on our headphones page, it takes us to headphones. So save that. And then when I go ahead and click headphones here, if I'm doing it right, awesome. It's taking us to, granted, a totally blank page, but a blank page that is going to give us headphones. So awesome. That is working really well. Next thing we do need to do though is, let's see, I probably actually want to set it up like a next page. So let me go ahead and copy this over and drop that in for headphones. Drop that in there. We're going to say headphones. Awesome. And then we're just going to import, add all missing imports. Cool. We don't need a lot of this stuff, but we do need some of it. So what we're going to keep is the, let's see, what shall we keep? We won't need this background image or the background size or any of that. We might end up using a little piece of it, but we also might not. All right, so we're going to keep our nav, our HR, which is a horizontal rule. We're going to get rid of our hero, but we're going to keep the container that's wrapping everything there. And then we're going to keep our about and our footer. We're going to get rid of, we're going to keep our category card container. We're going to get rid of everything else though. All right, awesome. So when I go to headphones, let me refresh, / headphones. Oh, I'm literally just getting the same thing. Why is that? Oh, I'm exporting home. Awkward. Headphones. Let's go ahead and export headphones and save that. Okay, cool. Let's try this again. Refresh. Headphones. Awesome. Cool. So it's not perfect, but we can work on that. So first things first, let's go ahead and touch up the nav. So what I took away in the index was, let's see. I think what I need to do is drop in some background color somewhere. So let's take a look at our nav and see what's going on there. Document, we're good there. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our nav and see what's going on there. All right, so in our nav, we have our background color. We have, it's wrapped in a container. Everything's looking pretty good there. Let's see, we have our divs. Oh, we don't have a double div. We have the divs that we have there. And the container, the nav is within the container. Let me see what actually happens if I move it outside of the container, if that works any better. All right, awesome, cool. It's giving us a full page. So that's probably what we want instead. And then I'm gonna drop this up here. And then maybe I'll just get rid of the container altogether. Maybe we'll put it back in later, but it doesn't seem like we necessarily need it. And then we can also get rid of this div, I'm guessing. So we'll save that there. All right, next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to create a new component. And this is going to be a shared component. So I've made these like little folders, like home and shared, in order for us to sort of separate which components are being used on like the home page alone or which components are being used on multiple pages, just to keep things a little bit organized. So we're going to call this one category page header .tsx, and we're going to save this, and then we're going to create the component there. And then all this is going to do is it's going to take in the category, and within a typography element, because again, we are using Material UI, so we can access the typography elements, we are going to pass in that category, and then we can style it up a little bit. Cool. And we'll create the props interface here. Category is going to be a string, and then we are going to type this using props and save that. All right, awesome. So then in headphones now, I'm going to have the category page header, and I'm going to pass in the category of headphones and save that. Awesome. Cool. And you can see that it's there right there. It's not doing anything just yet, but it is available. All right, so I'm going to wrap this in a container, or you know what? I'm not going to yet wrap it in a container. I think within the header, I think I'll wrap it in a container. The reason for this is because if you look at the page here, the whole thing is black, and the container would actually limit us to just what's inside here. So I want to make sure that I'm able to access the whole width of the page with the background, but then just center it in the middle. I actually probably don't even need the container, to be honest. I could just center it in the middle. So let's go ahead and grab this color, 1A, and then we'll set our surrounding box to have that color. And I can actually change this to a box. Again, a box is like a div for Material UI, but it's just allows us to use the XX props instead of the style prop, which is sometimes useful for hover states and things like that. So I'm going to say background color is this color that we just grabbed. Save that. Save that. Awesome. And then I do want to set the font color to white so we can see it. Awesome. And then I need to set probably a minimum height of, let's say, 5 rem, maybe larger. Yeah, I'll probably go like 10 rem there. Save that. Awesome. And then one thing I'm noticing here is on the headphones page, we are getting our HR is it's basically showing up black with a white background. So what I'm thinking is maybe I can drop it in the nav as like a lower element. But let me see if that would work or if that would cause a problem. Oh no, it's going to show across the whole page. Let me put it within the container. No, that doesn't look great. All right. Let me leave it where it was, but then, oh, save that. And then maybe I should just make this its own element, but I'll wrap it in a box. And I'll import that box. And then I'll wrap it in, or actually, sorry, the HR is literally not even on this page, so we can just completely ignore that. Forget about that. All right, cool. So going back to our category page header, I'm gonna then just set this box, this bounding box of the header, to have the display of flex. And we are going to, sorry about that, display of flex, and then we are going to justify content center and save that. Awesome. And then I think we also want to align it center. Align items to the center and save that. And then we're going to text transform it. And actually, let's do these changes on our typography element. So we're gonna set the variant first of all to be an H1 because the page needs an H1. Save that. And then we're gonna set the text transform to be uppercase. We'll save that. All right, right now it's huge, so that's way too big. Let's go ahead and set the actual right size. So we'll go font size equals, let's say 2 rem. Save that, pretty good. And then we'll set the font weight to be, let's say 800 and save that. All right, awesome. That's looking pretty decent. Maybe the font should be 2.5. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. I think maybe the only thing we could do is add a little bit more vertical like space, a little bit more to the minimum height. Let's maybe try 20 rem. I don't know if that's gonna be too big. It's a little too big. Let's maybe make it 15 rem instead. Nice split in the middle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty content with that. All right, so happy with that. Let's move on to the next section. And what we can do now is just go ahead and commit what we've done. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit and say created page, category page header. And the awesome thing is once we've done this for one category, one page, we don't need to do it again. So it's gonna be really convenient in terms of not having to sort of repeat everything multiple times. It's going to be really quick. So yeah, let's move to the next piece. Again, if you do have any questions, you want to ask any questions or anything like that, please just feel free to drop a question or a comment in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching this later. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions at all. Happy to go over any topics related or unrelated to building this out. So next thing that we're going to do is create this sort of picture and text combo. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the image because these all seem to be the same size. So I'm going to create like an image component, and then I'm going to create the like text on the right hand side, that component as well. What should be the best way to do this? I think what I would love to do is use the API to get this data. So if you go over here, you can see the way that we've gone about fetching our data before. So what we have done, this is in our sort of product page, like our individual products. What we've done before to fetch the data is in a use effect, we fetched from our local API, grabbed all the data, and then set that response, and then set the product based on what the item we receive in that response is. And that's worked pretty well for us. I think what I'm gonna wanna do in this is I'm gonna use the same fetch, but then I'm going to only return the items that are with the certain category. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to our data file, there's like a category. Yeah, there's a category. See on line 11 here where it says category and then it gives you the category. What we wanna do is do a similar check in each page, but then just return the data that is relevant to that page. So headphones, speakers, earphones, etc. So let me go ahead and copy this use effect just so we have a base to work with. Go into headphones, and then I'll drop it in here and save that. And it's going to give me some errors because we don't have any of this imported. So go ahead, add all missing imports, and then I'm going to create a data object. And it's a data and is loading. So I'll just go ahead and copy these two. Const data, and then we'll go ahead and import use state, and we'll remove a bunch of these imports that we don't have. We're not using again. Awesome. And cool. So we have fetched our data from our API. We don't need to worry about ID. Let's see. And you know what, I'm gonna create one more variable. I'm gonna say const category equals headphones. I think what I would later want to do is make this page like dynamically generated, but we can do that in a later lesson. So we're going to say const category equals category, or for a different project. So we're going to set data to the response, set loading to false, or rather than setting data there, what we could do is say response.map item if item.category equals category, and this way it's reusable across components. Equals category, missing one more bracket, there we go. Set data, or no, we want to, let's say data is an empty array. We want to go data dot push item. So if item dot category equals category, data dot push item, and this will update when data updates. Type of any, type of never. I think I didn't type it to be of any. Cool, get rid of that error. And awesome, that is looking pretty good. And then we'll want to say if is loading, because maybe it needs to fetch the data. Return loading, ... And we'll save that. P tag with loading, save that. And let's go ahead and console.log data and see what we get. Cool. Console, refresh. All right, awesome. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options, and they all seem to have the word headphones in it. So that's pretty good. And I'm pretty content with that. Although it says 3, why does it say 3? Like 6, is it 3? Well, I'm pretty content with that. So let's go ahead and now we can build out or sort of map through this data in order to display the different sort of like picture description combinations that we have. So please add VS Code extension material file icon. It will be easier to understand. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Could you tell me a little bit more about the VS Code extension? Like which one? Is that the one where it sort of changes the look of the icons here so that it's clearer? Let me know in the comments. But that would be interesting. I definitely have many of VS Code extensions, so I'll be happy to consider it. All right, so let's go ahead and in this lower section here, we want to basically go ahead and create this image and description combination. So let's go ahead and build that out. So we want to start by, let's say, creating a new file. I'm going to say category image.tsx. That's going to be our first component there. All right, save that. And for this, it's going to take in a source param, and that's probably going to be it. Yeah, I think so. Interface props. Or you know what? It should take in a source, which is a string, and then it should take in the maybe the name, which is a string. We can use that as the alt because we do need to have an alt. So we'll say source and name. And then we'll set it to be props, and we'll save that. And then here now, what we just want to return actually is an image. So image, we're going to use the next image. And we'll just go ahead and import that from next. Import image, next image, perfect. And then source is going to be source. Alt is going to be the name. And then we need to set the width and the height. So I'm going to say, let's say 500 by 500 just to start off with, and we can modify it as necessary. So that's going to be our category image. The next thing we're going to have is our category text. And that's going to be a little bit more styling on our part. Or maybe category item image. Sorry, just want to make sure I name these correctly so that when we come back in 2 days and we're like, what is that? We know what it is. So we're going to change these to category item image and save that. And then we're going to rename this to be category item text. Or category item description. Awesome. Cool. Save that. And what else? Okay, so let's take a look at the design. So we have an indicator of whether or not it's a new product, which I think we also have in our JSON, if I'm not mistaken. There's a new true or false. So we can use that to basically toggle whether or not we actually use that, we actually display this piece here. And then we have the heading, we have the description, and then we have the C product. If you recall, it's actually super similar to what we have here. So I think I'm going to just go to Hero, borrow these stylings, and then modify them to fit the page. I think that's probably going to be the quickest way to do this. So let's go back to our Hero. Let's grab all of this, or I'll grab everything from the box going down. Save that. And we'll go to description, and we'll drop that in here. Save that. Cool. And then we'll just go ahead and add all these missing imports. Save those. And oh, it's imported the incorrect button. There are two buttons that we're using in this, and one is one I've created, one is one that Material UI created. So the import button from, actually I think it just, yeah, there it is, button from button. And then we have what we're looking for there. All right, awesome. And then final file I'm going to create, we're going to say category, or maybe we don't even need to create a whole container. Let's see if we can do it without creating a container, because I don't want to create too many components, unnecessary components. So between the category page header and the category card container, what we want to do is map through data. So we're going to say data.map, and for each item, we want to go ahead with the arrow function and our curly brackets and return a box. I'm going to just make a generic box that comprises of our category item image and our category item description. I think I will actually end up making container just because it's going to be a little bit easier. We're going to go ahead, oh, it's missing the key. I'm going to go ahead and add the missing imports there, and then we'll set the key to be the item.id. Leave that there. What other errors are we seeing here? Oh, and then we need to pass in the source. So then we'll say the source is going to be item dot, I believe there's several different images. So item.image.desktop, because it does need to be the big one, image.desktop. And then we're going to say our alt text is going to be item.name, I believe. We'll save that. Is it item.name? Yeah, item.name. Maybe that doesn't work. Oh, sorry. I'm naming it alt and it should be name. All right, cool. Perfect. And then for the description now, we're just going to do the same thing, except here we're going to pass in a couple different variables. So let's go ahead and create our interface first with our props. We're going to say is new. So that's going to be a Boolean. It's like whether or not the product is new. We're going to say the name of the product, which is going to be a string. We're going to have the description of the product, which is another string. And C product, we need the ID of the product as well to grab the, I think it's a string as well, to grab the, might be a number, string or number. Yeah, to grab the href for it. And then we're just going to go ahead and customize it. So let me drop these in here. So is new, name, description, and ID. And then we're going to set that to props, be the types that we define there in props. And then we're going to say, if it is new, we'll display this is new. If it is, then display that. If not, then don't display anything. Oh, it's missing the closing curly bracket. There we go. And then this one is going to be name. This one is going to be description. Oops, description. And this one is going to be the ID. Awesome. So now when we go back to headphones, let's go ahead and pass in all of that stuff. So we need is new to be item dot new. We need name to be item dot name. We need description to be, I think it's item dot description to be honest. Dot description. And then we need the ID to be item dot ID. And we're going to save that. And awesome, all of our errors seem to have gone away. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. Must start. Oh, we're getting that that image error again. So we were getting this image error earlier when we were working with, was it our hero or our index? Basically, we had to remove the dot from the URL for whatever reason, or the source image. So I'll just do this to fix that issue. Don't replace. We'll save that. All right, awesome. So considering we haven't styled the box at all, this is looking pretty good. I think just because of the way that I want to be able to use and reuse this multiple times, I think I am going to move this to a separate container. So I'm going to say a new file, category item container .tsx, and I'm going to pass that in there. And then we are going to basically copy this box. Yeah, this box, whoops. This box right here from headphones, and put it in here. And save that, and then just import all of this in here. Perfect. And then what else do we need to do here? Oh yeah, we need to have all these imports. So interface props, item, I'm gonna give it any type for now. Not any's, any. I'm gonna dedicate a lesson in this series to just typing everything properly. Props, save that. And there we go. So then now what we do here, we just pass in that category item item container, and we'll save that. And then we'll just pass in item as item. And oh, it's missing the key prop. So we're gonna say key is item.id and save that. So now we can go, it should look exactly the same, but we can go into our category item container and style how everything works together. So let's go ahead and using our SX prop, we're going to set a display, oh, we can get rid of this key prop as well, display of flex. We'll save that. Awesome. And then we can actually wrap this whole thing in a container so that it falls better in line with the rest of our flow. Save that there. Awesome. And then we want to like justify and spread the content here. So let's say align items to center, but then we want to justify content so that it has some room, so space between. We'll save that. All right, cool. And that's looking pretty decent. I think we do need to make a few modifications just so it does match the style a little bit. But so far so good. It is giving me what looks like duplicate results though. So I do want to sort of figure out what's going on there. Maybe the use effect is being called twice and that's not ideal. So let me go ahead and figure that out later. But let's go ahead and quickly modify the style. So starting with our new product one here, we want to grab the color here, and this is going to be our orange. Save that there. And then in our description here, we want to just set that to be this color instead. Whoops, that is a lot. That's a lot of information for the color. Just want to grab this. Cool, awesome. So we have that new product. We can actually increase the letter spacing, I think, to probably 1 rem. Just make it a little bit more dramatic. And I'm going to decrease the font size on this page. But I will increase the font weight to 800 and save that. And the letter spacing maybe to 1.5 rem and save that. Maybe 1. Oh no, 1.5 I think, yeah. Maybe 600, maybe it's not so bold. All right, cool, pretty decent. Next thing here, I need to decrease the font weight of this and decrease the font size. So I'm gonna maybe say 3 rem, and that might actually deal with the font weight issue. Let's say maybe 4 rem. Yeah. And font weight, let's say 400. 500. Pretty good. I think it's still a little bit big, so maybe we'll say 3 rem. 3.5. I think that's probably the answer to our problems here. Awesome, that looks pretty good. Then the text here should actually be black. So I'm just gonna remove the color here so it can inherit the default color for the page. And we'll save that. And then, yeah, the C product looks pretty decent. I'm not gonna mess around with it too much. What I am gonna mess around with is the size of the image. So I think it could be a little bit bigger. So category item image, maybe we could do 600 by 600. And again, this is totally up to preference. It does seem pretty big in that initial example. And then finally, the last thing I want to do is flip the two back and forth. So I guess how I would do that in this container here is I could say, based on the item ID, return one or the other first. So what I can do here is say item.id. Let's see, how do we check? Let's say check for even or odd number JavaScript. I'm thinking what I can do is just check to see if the number is even. Number divided by 2 equals 0. Cool, that makes sense. Item.id divided by 2 equals 0. So if it's an even one, or it does not equal 0, if it's an even one, if it's an odd one, display that first, And if it's an even one display, it's second. So let's see if this works. Cool. Let's try it out. Because basically I want them to go left and right, right? Awesome. So headphones. Awesome. I'm not sure if I want, maybe I do want them to be a little bit more equal. So maybe I could go back down to 500 just in terms of like the horizontal split. Just the design. I think maybe having them left and right looks a little bit better. So we'll leave that for now. Let's push this and say like initial design for category items. Commit that, push that. And then let's figure out why we're getting, I think what the issue is that I'm like setting it twice. So let's see, if item.category equals category, data.push items. Oh, you know what? How to get unique items in array. Because then we could just like uniqueify it. No, that's not a word. Get all the unique values and then, you know, change that. So we could say, oh, we could use filter. That's a good idea. So only unique, the value, the index, and the array. Return array of filter, only unique. Okay, that seems to work pretty well. So let's grab this and see if it works for us. Oh, we could just do a set. Duh. All right, let's just do a set. Let's say if I do a console.log of, let's do this, of data. Oh, getting. All right, what is like, let's look for the most up-to-date answer to this. Dot set. New array from new set. Perfect. All right, I'll pass in data there. Cool. And then we'll output array. All right. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Cool. Let's see what this gives us here. If I create it as, if I make a new set, refresh that. Awesome. I'm getting 3s, which is what I love to see. I'm also just getting 3s regardless. So maybe, I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to say const headphones equals, we're going to create an array from the new set of data here. And then we're just going to get rid of these two. And then we're going to pass in, instead of data.map, we're going to go headphones.map. Or rather than headphones, we're going to say items or products.map. And I'm going to just change this. I just want to make this as reusable as possible. So I can literally just copy and paste or, you know, eventually just create a singular page for this. So I change it to headphones, and it's going to kind of be annoying. So yeah, I think this might actually work. Let's go ahead and refresh. We can ignore those errors for the second. And awesome. That looks pretty good. The only thing I am thinking that needs to change here is that the order is not correct. This should be at the top. So maybe I can reverse the array or something like that. Reverse. Or you know what? Instead of pushing it, maybe I could, oh gosh, how do you insert object at the beginning of an array? Object, beginning. I'm gonna kick myself. Array. Not push. Element. Unshift, right? Unshift. Yeah, let's do unshift. That way it'll just put them in the original order instead of the like tweaked order that I have. Awesome, cool. So new product. Headphones. Perfect. I think I actually botched it in terms of left and right. So I'm gonna go back to the code and fix which one should be on the left and which one should be on the right. So this is gonna be equals. Even ones should be on should have the image on the left. Odd ones should have the image on the right, or reverse that. Odd ones should have the image on the left. But either way, I think we're pretty good here. Cool. So I'm pretty content with this. This is like the intended page. It pretty much matches the design. We're not missing any elements, I don't think. No, we're not. So what we're gonna do now really quickly is basically just create the following pages from this. So really awesome way to just sort of create one page and then keep going from there. But yeah, if you do have any questions while I go ahead and do this, please leave them in the comments below. Drop them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer them as we're here. All right, so next one here. I am going to go ahead and, let's see, create a new page here. So new file, what was it? Speakers, I think was the next one. Drop that there. And then I'm just literally going to copy everything in headphones. Control C. Paste it in speakers. Control V. And I'm going to change this one word to speakers. And yeah, that should be it. Let's go to speakers. Let's refresh. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Very important here that I didn't set up. I didn't change the nav. So the nav's like, it's the same thing. We're going to add in speakers here and earphones here. Save that. All right, refresh. Speakers. Awesome. Speakers are there. Headphones are there. Perfect. Earphones are not there because the page does not exist yet. However, let's go ahead and create it. So we'll create one more page, new file, earphones.tsx, Control V, all of that, and change this one word here, earphones. Save that. And we'll refresh one more time. And perfect. That's pretty good. So I think we have everything that we need. So we have our home page, our headphones, our speakers, and our earphones page. We can click on these. I wonder if this actually works. See product, it does work. We can add it to cart. That does show up there. And so I'm pretty content with that. We'll go ahead and see this product. Add that to cart. See that. Awesome. Actually, we are persisting. So I don't know how we did that. Must be magic. But pretty content with that. Let's add 4. I didn't leave anything in there from the persist, but it does seem to be working. So I'm content with that. I'm not going to question it. Maybe it's a new feature they added. Maybe I did something already that helped me out. But I'm pretty happy with what we have here. One bug I am noticing is that the headphones, like you see, I've added 2 and then I've added 4. It doesn't change the number of it doesn't replace it. So that's a bug I'm going to want to fix. But for now, that's looking pretty good. So I'll end the remove all button works. Let me go ahead and remove all. All right, so let us hop into the comments. I'll check on TikTok as well and see if we got any comments down there. And we will respond to some comments there. Let's see. All right, so is it possible to find a job as a self-made coder without a degree or even courses, just hard skills? 100%. Yeah, I did not study computer science. I studied like the arts. And then after studying arts, I decided that I still wanted to learn how to become a coder. So I taught myself how to learn how to code over the process of about 6 months to a year, and then started freelancing as a coder, and then eventually got full-time jobs as a coder as a software engineer. And I do front-end web development primarily, but I do also know how to do back-end stuff as well. So yeah, definitely 100% possible. Actually, the reason that I created the bootcamp that I've created here is because, and let me full screen for a second so you guys can see me. Yeah, the reason I created the bootcamp that I created here is because I wanted to be able to provide folks with a way of being able to learn how to code in an accessible format that allows them to sort of get to coding faster. When I was learning how to code, a friend of mine actually started to mentor me, and that was really what sort of skyrocketed my growth as a student of software engineering, just because I went from sort of like learning these like 1 and 2 things here and there to like finally understanding like exactly what I need to know. Like I basically, like, I had a pathway and I knew where to go through the pathway, and then I could always go to them with questions about like, hey, I don't understand this piece or I don't understand that piece, and they would sort of steer me in the right direction. So yes, it is definitely 100% possible to be self-taught and learn how to code. What I would recommend though is getting somebody to work with you in order to help you get to that destination faster, or to help you get past any really frustrating points or moments where you're not sure which piece of information is correct, because there's a lot of information out there. I would definitely recommend getting a mentor. If you are interested in like using the service that I provide, I do offer mentorship for folks who are interested in learning how to be software engineers, front-end developers specifically. This is my website, davidsonprogrammingacademy.com. Let me share that with you so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is the website here, davidsonprogrammingacademy.com. You can try out all of our programs and courses for free for at least 7 days, but up to 30 days, depending on which package you're interested in trying out. We have 3 different tiers of membership: basic, pro, and unlimited. And basically with each of these, you will get full access to our full bootcamp that will teach you how to become a front-end engineer. And then depending on how much mentoring you're interested in having, you can choose one of the packages that involves at least 1, if not more, mentoring sessions per month that will allow you to connect with a mentor, work through your problems, etc., etc., etc. So thank you for asking that question. Really appreciate it. But yeah, if you do have any questions about learning how to code, about how to become a software engineer, web developer, front-end, back-end, full stack, etc., please feel free to reach out to me. You can also book a free call here, and we can chat about your unique situation and what opportunities that might be available to you. Cool. So next thing here, let's go ahead. First things first, then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break so folks can grab some water, some snacks, and then we'll come back and do some more debugging on our project here. All right, cool. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and continue on with what we're working on here. So, as you can see, we have our page up and running. We have where we can add to cart. We have our items showing up in our cart. We can go and add new products to cart. We can have those showing up in our cart. They are persisting across pages. So all in all, it's going pretty well, I would say. We've pretty much finished out our initial design of the product. There are a few little tweaks we could make, like when we hover, we get this orange color. That would be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and implement that. And then, let's see, the next thing we could probably implement is working on some of that logic there. So quickly, how to implement the hover states. If we go back to our nav here, we can go to, let's see, each of our links here. And let's see, how would we add a hover state for this? I wonder if, oh, you know what, actually, sorry, I just noticed a bug here. Let's fix this piece right here. So in these cards, they're actually supposed to show each of the pages when you click shop, and we didn't have these pages before, but now we do. So we can go ahead and add in those links. So we'll add the link. Oh, the link should be to the category, so it should actually work. We're passing in the category card. Oh, you know what? It's because it's capitalized. So let's go H, S, E. Save that. Yeah, because we had set that up yesterday, but capitalization is important. So awesome, cool. Yeah, these are working now. I think maybe that's probably the best thing to do right now. We just do a quick debug of the home page. So everything seems to be working well. Oh, you know what we didn't do? This is super important. We did not add anything to our product pages. So I think that's something we probably should tackle first. So if you go to any product, like this product here, you see it, you know, it's pretty cool. There's like a bunch more information here that we don't have displayed yet. So let's go ahead and display all of that information. I think that would be really useful and like help us market this a little bit better. So let's go ahead and implement that. Right now, it's literally just the nav bar and the product itself. So if I go down to our ID page here, this is the page that we have our products displaying on. I just want to go and grab some of the stuff from our index. So I need the about, I need the footer, and I think I'll need the category card container, but I'll just drop those in the bottom here and save that. And then we'll go ahead and import those from import about, and then import footer. Cool. And yeah, if you guys are just joining or been watching for a while, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I do stop periodically to answer the questions that are in the chat. All right, cool. So we have our about, we have our footer here. Next thing we need to add is this like photo gallery section and, oh, the category cards section. Let's add that in. Category card container, save that. Awesome. That's there. And then, yeah, there's like a, you may also like a recommended products kind of thing, like when you go on Amazon or whatever. So we can add that in. And I think that is also in our API. Like they've already given us that data, so it's not like we need to go do any like logic. Yeah, so if we take a look at our data from our API, we're getting gallery, which is the images for the product. So I think we could probably, we could probably at one point show like a sort of multiple image gallery. Oh, it's called others. So in others, there are 3 other types of headphones here. So I guess that's how we get that information in others. So we do want to create that. And then we also want to create this features box and the include section here. All right, cool. So let's work on that. Let's start with the features, and in the box, and we'll just work our way down. So this is like product add-ons, product features, product features.tsx, and then we'll create that. And then what we're gonna actually take in here is features, and comes with, or additional items. And we'll save that. And we'll say interface, props, features is a string, and string, and additional items is probably an array of strings. And we'll save that. And then we'll put props over here. And then, yeah, we'll put that, we'll create this. So we're gonna start with a box from Material UI. We're gonna start with a box here. And then we're gonna have two headers, so features and in the box. And then, so basically we'll create two boxes within that one box. So box, and we'll duplicate this. And then this box, the outer box, is going to have a display of flex. And that should be good for now. And then this box here is also going to have a display of flex, but it's going to be flex, flex direction is going to be column. And then the, we are going to, what is it, align items. It's going to be space between, and save that. And yeah, I'm going to copy, actually just going to replace this box with this box so it should have similar styling. And then we're going to create our first typography element. Typography, and it should say features, and we're going to save that. And then the other one should say in the box. We'll say in the box, and we'll save that. And that should be good for now. So what I want to do now is incorporate this into our product page. So this is our product features. It's going to go right below our product. So I'm going to say product.others.map. I'm pretty sure other product. Let me just confirm. Not product, other products. Sorry, we're gonna go products. We're gonna just import the product features, and then we're gonna pass in. Additional items, which is gonna be. We're not gonna map. We're gonna map within includes. So I'm actually going to change this to includes because that sounds nicer. Includes product dot includes, and then in product features we're going to change this to includes, and then for features it's just going to be features. Features is going to be product dot features. I think it's features. Yeah, features. Features. Just some type ID dot string. Oh, and you know what? I'll just set this. So we'll say features. We'll say includes, and we can just also confirm that it's an array, because if it's an object, we'll have to change it. It is an array. Includes an empty array. Cool. So now we should have just the little box there, which is fine. That works for us. We can then, let me close some of these that we're not using for now. Yeah, we can then go ahead and use what we've sort of started to build here. So let's go typography, and we'll say this is going to be the features. I'm going to save that. And then this lower typography here is going to be the includes. And one thing I did notice is that it does need to be wrapped in a container because it is sort of stretching to the sides as is expected. That is a nice thing about having the containers in the individual components. Like we don't necessarily need to like modify it every time we need a larger component. All right, objects are, oh yeah, we do have, oh yeah, so we should map. So this is where I was thinking about mapping. So we will map over includes.map. And what does includes give us? Gives us the quantity and the item. Quantity and the item. Oh, I see. Quantity here, item on the left. Makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll say includes.map. We're going to do a box. Or actually, we could probably just do this in a typography element with a span. Keep it simple. For each item, we want to return a typography element that has item dot quantity and item dot item. There we go. I'm missing the key prop, so the key will be item dot item because that should be unique. Property item. Or we could do the frowned upon index. Oh, this is property item. Oh, oh, I told it was an array of strings, but it's actually not. It's an array of objects. Let's see. Include interface. We're just going to add a type here. Interface. What is it? Quantity, which is a number, and item, which is a string. Save that, and it's going to be interface. I'm going to save that. Awesome. Errors are gone. Let's see if we can use item.item now. Because really, yeah, that's better. Perfect. All right, let's refresh and see what we have. Cool. So that is displaying for us. Doesn't look great, but it is there, so pretty content with that. Let's go ahead and let us style it a little bit better. All right, so let's go variant equals, let's say h3. And then let's give it some SX. So I'd say text transform. And then we're going to say uppercase. Not uppercases, uppercase. And then we are going to set the font size to maybe, let's say, 1.5 rem. Save that. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Maybe 2 rem. And then we'll set the font weight to like 700. Maybe not so much 6 or 5, which should be good. Maybe 5, which is normal, so we can just take that out. All right, 5, that should be good. All right, cool. So that works. What we need to do now is copy these stylings to our next typography element, which should be in the box. So paste that there. Awesome. And then we need to sort of set the width on these inner boxes. So we'll say max width is, let's say 50%. I don't know if that's probably not gonna like that. Oh no, it's good with that. Is it 50%? No, it's more like... Actually though, because we've changed the size of the image, if I say 70, how does that look? That looks all right. And then we add maybe 60 and we add some margin to the left for the other box. So we'll say margin left of 2 rem. Probably gonna need to be more than that. Let's say 5 rem. That looks pretty good. And then let's add some margin bottom for both of these. Margin bottom of 4 rem. This is for both the titles. Control-C. Drop that in there. Save that. Cool. And then with that span that I was mentioning earlier, we just need to add the stylings for it. So let's go ahead and do that. So within the span that I need to add the span first. And we'll wrap around here. And then we'll say style. Oh, it's getting an error. Let's check this error. Oh, okay. False error. Style equals color is going to be probably that hash, that same color that we got earlier. Color is going to be there. I'm going to say X quantity. So it's X times, like times the number of thing. And, oh, sorry. Thing X. And then we'll say font weight. Oh, actually, no, it seems pretty normal. We'll just say margin right of 0.5 rem. Give it a little bit of space. All right, awesome. That's looking pretty good there. The last thing, sorry, two more things that we need to add to this page in order to make it complete. So we want to add this set of gallery images, and then we want to add these like you may also like. What I want to check is to see if all of these products have the same set of gallery images. No, they actually change. All right, so that should be interesting. Let me see if the data provides this. Oh, okay, this is that data. Got you. This is that gallery images that we're creating there. Okay, cool. So that shouldn't be a problem. Let's create a new file and we'll call it gallery product gallery.tsx. And we'll go back to our ID here. And we're going to import it here, product gallery. And what we're going to pass to it is the product.gallery. So we're going to say images equals, or gallery. Gallery equals product.gallery. And it's going to want me to, gallery is an object. It's going to want me to declare it up here somewhere. Ah, here. Gallery. This is just to initialize it so that it knows sort of what type it's expecting. We could also just initialize the whole thing with the correct type, but I think it's going to be easier to do once we've sort of finished building out our app and we know what parts we need. So it's giving me an error right now because product does not take any gallery attribute at the moment, but that's all right. It will soon. So we're going to have it come in here. I'm going to say interface props, and I'm going to say gallery, and it is an object, and we're gonna, it's going to be an object with first, second, and third. We'll leave it like that for now. We can finish upgrading it in a second. We're going to give this the type of box, and then what else do we need to do? Should work. Oh, on the ID page. Oh, because I didn't finish closing it off. Cool. So we have the box here. We're going to wrap it in a container like we have before. So actually, we're going to change this to a container. Or we can just wrap a container around the box. Cool. Awesome. And then we're going to need our images. So we're going to say image from next image. And it's going to be gallery source is going to be gallery dot. There's going to be 3 images. So it's first, second, and third. First desktop, second desktop. Okay. So first dot desktop. And then we do need to do that dot replace. So let me see where we use that last. Yes, here we can grab this, replace, just to avoid that error. Dot replace, and then we'll say alt equals product image, and then we'll say height equals 200, width equals 300, and we'll save that. Gallery dot first. Oh yeah, see, now it's going to give me the error. So we'll say first is an object, second is an object, third is an object, and then desktop has a string. And then we'll just replace these two with that. So that's our typing right there. Let's put in our 3 images. So first, second, third. And then the first 2 images are going to be wrapped in their own box. Save that. And then this whole box is going to be a flex box. So we're going to say display, or sorry, within the SX props, we're going to say display of flex. And then this is also going to be a flex box, but it's going to be a flex box using vertical columns. Flex direction is going to be column. We're going to save that. Okay, cool, awesome. Oh, now it's giving me an error because it needs these props. So let me go ahead and just copy this in the type declaration up here and save that. And where it says string, we're just going to pass in an empty string. All right, cool. Looks pretty good. Let's see how it actually looks. All right, awesome, cool. So we have our 3 images there. They're all the same size right now because we haven't changed the size, but they are displaying correctly, which is awesome. Let's go to the same product. So we're matching. Oh, we were just on the same product. Awkward. Speakers, ZX9. Let's see how they're intended. All right, so the first 2 are smaller. The last one is big. Let's go ahead and fix these styles up. So we'll say, for the last one, say height maybe 400 and width is maybe 400. And then the height for these should probably be about 300 and the width maybe 500. I don't know if that's right. That's probably not right. The width for the other one just needs to be bigger. Well, height and width. So let's say at least 600 and the width needs to be maybe 800. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we just want to add some, actually it's probably going to need to go up a little bit, probably to 650. because we're going to add some margin to the bottom of that first image. So we'll say cool. And then we'll add some, or actually we could just do justify content or align items space between, and do the same thing for this, except with justify content. We'll save that. All right, there isn't really much room, so I guess that's why I didn't do that. but let's say this has a margin left of yeah, let's say it has, oh, you know what? I think it might actually be overextending. That's the issue. So let's say maybe the width is 600 and the height, or maybe 650. Is this a nice little square? Maybe I can make everything, okay, so it is a proper square. I can just lower everything a little bit. Cool, that looks pretty good. We can probably, oops, get rid of this. Margin, line item space between, let's say justify, content space between. Awesome. All right, perfect. So we have the gallery there, looking good. Let's go ahead and commit this because we have done a lot of stuff. Style, product, page. We'll commit that, push that up. And then the last thing we're going to do for today is add in this you may also like page. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat before we wrap up for the day. If not, just continue to watch along and ask away later in the comment section or wherever you feel most comfortable. All right, so let's add in this you may also like category. Let's call it recommendations. So we'll create a new file. We'll call it recommendations.tsx. And we're going to create this. So we're going to start with a box. Actually, we're going to start with a container. And we have the container, and then we'll have a typography element as a title. I'm just watching the title, like the style. You can just borrow this style from our, what is it? Product features? Yeah, product features. I think we just borrow this style here. So I'm just gonna borrow that and drop it up at the top here. I'm gonna say, drop that there. Typography, add all missing imports, close that out, save that. And let's bring this onto our actual page. So this is gonna be below our product gallery or above it? Below it, all right. Recommendations. I'm gonna save that. And then, awesome, we're seeing it already, which is great. Then we wanna say, it's not recommendations, so you may also like. Save that. And yeah, we should display, so this is part of our API. This is what we're getting back. This is others, that others info right here. So we'll need, oh, okay, so this is something we're gonna end up tackling a bit tomorrow, because we're gonna wanna change the slug from being the ID, like whatever we're calling the links, from being the ID to actually being the proper slug. So that's gonna be something we'll end up tackling tomorrow, but we can do the initial UI for this today. So for this, we'll say you may also like, and then we are going to pass in the, what is it, product or item dot others. So we're gonna say others or recommendations product.others. And we're gonna have to fix that type error in 2 places. Recommendations is, what is it? Is it an array? Yes, it is an array. An array. And we're gonna give this others default value of an empty array. And then we will map over the recommendation. So recommendations dot map over each product, because recommendation is a long word. We want to return, let's see, it's gonna be a box. So this whole like div, right? We wanna basically return a box with the image of the product, which I'm assuming is that image they provide to us, the name of the product, and something that allows us to see it. So let's do that. Let's create a larger bounding box. And then we need, it needs the key. So we'll say key equals product.slug. And then we'll say, we'll grab the name. Well, let's do the image first. So we'll go image. The source is going to be the, let's check our API, product.image.desktop. Product.image. Or sorry, not product. Yeah, product.image.desktop. So that's correct. Cool. And then, we'll need to do the dot replace as well. That dot replace is not ideal. Dot replace, and then we'll do our alt, which will be equal to our product.name. I think we get that. And then we'll do the width. Let's just say 300 by 300 for now. We'll save that, and we're still getting an error because I think we've imported it. Oh, we haven't imported it. Import image from, maybe it's image from next image. Got that. And cool. Working pretty well. Awesome. And the sizing is not too terrible. I think we might want to do like 350. But I think maybe even 400. But let's focus on making it into a flex box to begin with. So this recommendations is going to be in a box as well. And we're going to set the display of this box to be flex and save that. And then we're going to justify the content by setting them to space between. We'll save that. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I think we can set the width to maybe 400. Ooh, that might be a little too big. Maybe 375. Save that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we want to show the names and then show a See Product button. So in the bottom here, I think we can grab this image, this typography element, I should say, drop that down there, and then say product.name. Save that. Awesome. I will turn this also into a flex box just so we can align things better. So we'll say display of flex. We're gonna say flex direction of column, and then we'll say justify content to the center. Let me see if that works. No, it's align items I want. Align items to the center. And then we want some padding on the top and the bottom of that text, or some margin, I should say. So say margin 4M. Oh, that's a little bit much. Let's say 3 rem. Okay. Or even 2 rem. 2 rem, and the font size could be a little bit smaller. And then we'll have our personal button on the bottom here. So we'll say button, C product, and this is button, import button, button from our button here. Save that. And we're going to say variant equals contained, and color is gonna be the orange that we've been using. All right, drop that in there. Contained, not container. And if we go down here, there they are. So we have our, oh, sorry, hold on. Nearly jumped the gun there. We need to fix up this right here. So we need to say SX equals display flex, and we need to say justify content center. Oh, and then we should say flex direction column. Justify content center. Oh, align item center. Cool. And then we just need some margin. 4M. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 8, which is a lot, a bit more, but that. And then, oh, I put this in the wrong spot. That's my bad. This category container should actually go below recommendations. Awesome. And then I'll add a little bit of padding to this feature, or margin, sorry, to the features. Let's say margin. Is it top and bottom that needs? Margin bottom. And yeah, I think we're done here for today. So let's go over everything we did. We already had the main page figured out, but we did sort out an issue here where when you loaded the page, you got the incorrect number in the cart. So we fixed that. So now it's always 0 when you don't have any items. And then when you do go and add a product, it does update the correct number of items. We got persisting to work without doing too much. So we can go ahead and add more than one item to the cart and go to different pages. We can then go ahead and remove all of those items, which we had before, but it does work correctly now. We also added in 3 new pages. So we added in headphones to showcase all of our new headphones. We added in the speakers page to showcase all of our new speakers. And we added in the earphones page, which only showcases our one type of earphones, but they are there. And then finally, we added to our product pages. So previously it was literally just this header and the main product information. Now we have all of our features, all of our in the box elements here. We have our galleries, we have our additional products here, and we have the category containers and the about section. This page probably is what we're going to work on tomorrow a little bit more, because we do need to set up the slugs so that when you click on this, it actually takes you somewhere. And we want to basically change the slugs from being IDs to being the names of the products that are provided us through the slugs. So that's what we've worked on today, and that's probably what we'll be working on tomorrow. Are there any questions? If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Drop them in the comments if you want to as well. And yeah, tomorrow we will follow up, as I said, with updating the slugs so that we use the actual like slugs that are provided to us in the JSON data. These slugs up here. We are going to use these instead of the IDs, which we have been using, as our URL slugs for our products. We are going to update our cart as well, So when you go ahead and you add your product to cart, currently it just shows you like a really kind of lame count there. We're going to update this so that it actually shows you like a plus and minus button there, so you can toggle it. We're going to update the format of this, of the pricing here, and then we're going to update the total as well, so it's like actually doing some addition and subtraction there. Well, just addition or multiplication there. And then finally, we also need to build our checkout page. So that's something else we're going to want to tackle as well, so that when you go and you check out, these products, if we go to the checkout page here, you actually get to see this really awesome checkout page with like, payment methods and things like that. As I said, if you do want to set this up to be like a functioning site, one, you need the products, but two, you also probably want to use something like Stripe to set up this page, but we'll show you how to sort of set up and design your own page, so that is an option for you guys as well. And that's pretty much everything we have today. If you do have any questions, as I said, feel free to drop them in the chat below, drop them in the comments, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. See you tomorrow.